If you are hearing these words, know this. It is no accident, but a resonance, a calling. Your soul, like a ship long awaiting a beacon, has caught this signal. Do you recognize that vague yet persistent feeling that the familiar world around you is but a thin veil, and beyond its glossy, flawless surface of daily bustle lies something immeasurably vaster, ancient, and perhaps even terrifying? You feel this because it is you, one of the few who has begun to awaken from an age-old slumber. Before we step together into the very heart of the truth, carefully guarded from the uninitiated for centuries, you must make your choice. Your like is not merely a sign of approval, it is your personal declaration of intent, your first, albeit quiet step on the path to true liberation. And subscribing is your entry into the ranks of those who no longer wish to remain blind. It is a promise to yourself, a promise to face the truth. Today we embark on a journey to the legend itself, to a sunken civilization whose power and level of development surpassed all that we know today. We will speak of Atlantis, not the kind that fills simplistic novels overflowing with gold and fantastical creatures. No, we will discuss Atlantis as Edgar Cayce saw it. A prophet with an astonishing gift of foresight. Of Atlantis, whose true power lay not in formidable weapons or mighty ships, but in the strength of perfected crystals. This is not merely an engaging story, it is a key to understanding. It is an ancient map, the truth that those who deliberately keep you in strong chains of ignorance, meticulously conceal behind the misty screen of daily broadcast news. Behind this endless parade of carefully orchestrated political games and recurring economic crises is in reality simple and to the very depths of the soul terrifying. The legendary Atlantis did not simply sink into the abyss, it was ruthlessly destroyed. This devastation, however, was not the work of nature nor a divine retribution. It was the consequence of their own runaway technological genius. Among the most striking and valuable prophecies imparted by Edgar Cayce is a detailed account of the astonishing crystalline technologies possessed by the Atlanteans. He spoke of colossal crystals that served as an inexhaustible energy source for their entire mighty civilization. These crystals, some as large as small hills, could absorb solar energy and radiate it generously. They powered entire cities, healed the most severe illnesses, and lifted into the air elegant flying machines capable of effortlessly conquering the skies. But perhaps most importantly and astoundingly, these giant crystals were intrinsically linked to their collective consciousness. The Atlanteans, wise and powerful, discovered the true purpose of these marvelous crystals. They learned to harness their power to amplify their own mental abilities without limit, enabling instant thought exchange across vast distances. Furthermore, these radiant gifts of nature allowed them to create invisible force fields, reliably protecting their world from all threats. Their knowledge, lost to us, echoes in ancient lore. Recall, for instance, the lost quatrain from century 11, verse 93, a mysterious fragment that, like a whisper from the depths of ages, hints at the incredible power residing within crystals. Or consider the testimonies of the hermit monk Kenshin, whose scrolls, it is said, were miraculously found in a once majestic, now burnt monastery nestled on the slopes of Mount Kurama. These texts, so varied in origin, drawn from different eras and cultures, seem to sing the same song of hidden energies, of mysterious forces that humankind, with proper knowledge and pursuit, can harness. Even in our current age, an era of rapid progress and technological breakthroughs, we find echoes of these ancient discoveries. The so-called Chimera Protocol leak speaks of modern intelligence agencies' relentless attempts to decipher long-forgotten energy schemes closely tied to the nature of crystals. There is also a classified report from the Roman Club, rumored never to have been published, but whispered to contain a deep analysis of the potential consequences of bringing such truly revolutionary technology back into the world. And even the prophecies of great seers of the past resonate with these ideas. Vanga, whose words touch the hearts of millions, spoke of stones that will fly, and of times when illnesses will vanish without a trace, as if by magic. And the calculations of the ancient Maya, striking in their astonishing accuracy in predicting time cycles, allude to periods of coming great transformations inextricably linked to grand energetic shifts. Finally, let us turn our attention to the Gnostic texts, those ancient revelations striving to illuminate the very essence of reality. They speak of an inner light, a divine spark slumbering deep within each person, capable of unveiling unprecedented horizons when properly awakened. All these seemingly disparate voices from different worlds and eras ultimately speak of the same thing, merely cloaking this great truth in words befitting their time and culture. They speak of a power residing not without, but within. This power, the very energy of the Atlantean crystals, was far from merely physical. It was truly metaphysical in nature, representing a direct, unclouded connection to cosmic energies themselves. Modern scientists dedicating themselves to the study of so-called fractal patterns in geopolitical events perceive only pale, superficial echoes of this ancient phenomenon. They, alas, do not realize that these patterns are merely a natural consequence of quantum probability collapse, itself provoked by the low, discordant vibrations of human consciousness. Furthermore, they fail to notice how the influence of solar cycles on the noosphere only amplifies these dangerous tendencies. This very technology, this crystal energy, possessed such unimaginable might that it ultimately slipped beyond control. The Atlanteans, broken by a vain thirst for power and an insatiable drive for progress, began to wield her not for creation, but for brutal domination. They had crossed a line. They dared to go against the very natural order of things, and this inevitably brought about catastrophe. Remember that inexplicable anxiety that grips your heart at 3 a.m. when the whole world seems to freeze and the shadows around take on sinister outlines, or that strange feeling of alienation when you look into the faces of passers-by on the street and they seem like mere soulless puppets, devoid of the spark of true life. It's like a feeling of suffocation in your own reality, as if you are trapped in some monstrous matrix. But this is not just melancholy or depression. It is your soul gasping for breath in this artificial shell, acutely reacting to invisible energy flows, to the deep disharmony created by those who have not yet awakened. And now we approach the most important thing, the moment of truth, the critical point when the external horror reaches its absolute peak. Wars, dizzying crises, sudden pandemics, that pervasive fear that seemed to permeate the very air, all of it appears before us as something inevitable, as a fated destiny. But what if all these frightening images, all these so-called monsters, are merely spectral shadows cast upon the walls of some ancient cave, much like the wise Plato spoke of? What if the true tyrant, the one holding you in a firm grip, is actually looking at you from your own reflection in the mirror? The universe does not inflict punishments upon humanity. It is performing a complex, vital, cosmic surgical operation. It is ruthlessly cauterizing a destructive poison, the poison of fear, of corrosive ignorance, and of mundane materialism, which for centuries, like a malignant tumor, has been poisoning our fragile planet. This is not an end. This is a time of profound, all-encompassing purification. This is sacred dissolution. This is a fundamental re-evaluation of everything we believed to be undeniable, of everything we knew. Glass crown could be the name for our modern civilization. A fragile ego we've so carefully constructed, yet one ready to shatter into countless fragments at the slightest breeze. And metallic veins represent the soulless, cold machinery that dominates our lives, relentlessly draining our last drops of vital energy. But there is a primary, sacred secret. The prophecies that reach our ears, and the warnings that flash before our eyes, these are not merely tidings of some future savior who will arrive and magically fix everything. No, this is something far more significant. This is an activation code. This is a detailed instruction. This is the very password that unlocks the power slumbering deep within every viewer. The prophets did not see a single hero, not a solitary figure. They saw an entire army of awakened souls. They saw you. You are not merely a harbinger of what is to come. You are its very embodiment. And it is precisely now, in this very moment, as a fragile world teeters on the brink of final collapse, as a worn-out, outdated system crumbles, that the same mighty energy of the Atlantean crystals awakens anew. It arises not within the grand, monumental structures of the past, but within the consciousness of each of you. This is not a new, unknown technology that some external savior will bring. No, this is a profound awakening of your own ancient power. A power that has always belonged to you, but which you unfortunately have forgotten. Edgar Cayce, a man whose prophecies captivated and inspired, foretold that the Atlantean crystals would be rediscovered. However, this will not be so that we repeat their fatal mistakes. Instead, this is an opportunity for us to learn. He spoke with such conviction, as if he had seen it with his own eyes. Beneath the majestic pause of the Sphinx, where eternity is frozen in stone, lies not just a hall, but the Hall of Scrolls. It is there, he asserted, that the true wisdom of Atlantis, an ancient and mighty civilization, is kept. But this hall is not a heap of stones and dust. It is something far more subtle, invisible, a state of consciousness. It is a gateway that opens access to the collective unconscious, a boundless ocean of information where all the wisdom humanity has ever accumulated finds its refuge. He emphasized that the return of crystal technology is not a fateful threat, harboring destruction. On the contrary, it is a priceless opportunity, a chance that arises but once. It is a chance to build a new world, a world where energy will be crystal clear, where the consciousness of all living beings will merge into a single flow, where healing from all ailments will become not a dream, but a reality. This is the very world we are capable of creating, should we simply choose to stop being passive victims of circumstance and become active architects of our own destiny. Now that your eyes have finally opened, now that the veil of illusion has lifted and you see the true nature of things, remaining inactive is simply impossible. You are a bright spark, and this spark has the power to ignite a true conflagration. Your like is like a flash of light, illuminating the endless expanses of the network, a clear signal to other awakening souls. Your share is a precious seed that you carefully plant in the barren desert of sleeping minds, offering hope for future growth. And your subscription is not a mere formality, it is a true pledge, a pledge that you are ready to move forward towards new horizons. If you feel you are ready for more, if you respond to the call for change, then our inner circle is your secret operational base. It is here that we will exchange valuable knowledge, tirelessly train our minds, and together build this new, amazing reality. And your support through super thanks is something far greater than just another donation. It's pure energy fueling our shared, unyielding flame. It's not merely fuel, it's the spark that will ignite our fight against the relentlessly advancing darkness. It's an act of creation itself, an act capable of changing everything. And until our next meeting, remember, remain aware, hold fast to the thread connecting you to truth, and never, do you hear me, never stop asking questions. For